expire typically within 9 to 12 days post-colonization from inflammatory complications caused by routine stinging and gross modification of dermal tissue. This also compromises the immune system, leaving male hosts. This process, which might arms outstretched as he slowly stepped away. The man's arms extended, keeping the woman at a distance.
Come on, Henry. Don't pretend to be shy now. You know you want me.
Her skin was infested with some sort of fungal growth. Half of her face was already covered with it. Are you okay? You seem different.
I'm the same as always. Now come here and give me a kiss.
She leaned in. Already, the fungus was spreading to him. Is that all we have to go on? Yeah. We received the footage yesterday. Looks to be highly contagious. Some sort of anomalous fungal outbreak. I'm assuming the infection has already spread, but if we act fast enough, we should be able to contain it. Shouldn't be too hard to spot, eh? Welcome back. Today I bring you SCP-020, Unseen Mold. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Claw slid the case files across to Chen. It seemed simple enough, as far as SCPs went. Fungal growths, highly contagious. Final outcome for the victims, as yet, unknown. They'd be on the ground soon enough. Kloss looked out the window. He needed a vacation. They approached the house. Full hazmat suits were the order of the day. As they reached the front door, it started to open. Chen signaled to halt. The door opened. It was the lady from the surveillance footage. But she didn't appear infected.
Hi, can I help you? Would you like to come inside? I've just made a fresh batch of muffins and some delightful iced tea.
Chen looked at Kloss with a quizzical look on his face. What was going on? There was no sign of infection on the woman anymore. We'd love to. Thank you. As they walked through the door, Kloss whispered to Chen. She didn't even question the hazmat suits. Keep your wits about you. Something's not right. As they entered the living room, they saw her husband sitting in a chair, reading a book. As they approached, he set the book down. Welcome, welcome. It's always nice to have unexpected visitors. Please, take a seat. Won't you take off those suits? They look mighty warm. Thank you, but if you don't mind, we'll keep them on for the time being. The man frowned briefly, but smiled again as his wife came back into the room.
Well now, how will you try my tea unless you take off those silly helmets?
We appreciate the offer, but we'll have to decline. Can I ask you a few questions? The woman's demeanor changed abruptly.
The way I was brought up, it's considered rude to keep a hat on in someone else's house. Take it off.
Kloss looked at Chen. We do apologize, madam, but we're not at liberty to remove them. Could we ask you those questions now? The husband and wife looked at each other, then back at Kloss and Chen, and started to slowly move towards them. Chen drew his weapon. Step back. You get one warning with me, and you've just had it. They continued to approach, slowly. Chen raised his weapon and fired a shot straight into the woman's arm. It exploded, and a burst of cloud erupted into the air. Kloss yelled out at Chen. They're still infected. Get out. We'll seal the house. The two men ran out from the house, the other agents awaiting them. Seal it up. No one in, no one out, unless you hear otherwise from me. Chen and Kloss pored over the available information, trying to figure out what had happened. After the initial incident, they had sent men in to retrieve the wife's body. The husband had been quarantined and confined for the time being. Kloss looked over the body. Very strange. I can't see any clear signs of the infection. However, some of the blood work has come back, with strange results. Strange? That doesn't say a whole lot to me, Doc. Strange is what we do. Well, signs of spores and mold. It appears she is still infected, but why it's not visible anymore? I'm not sure. Kloss worked on through the night. Chen passed out on a table next to him. The PA system came to life. Sir, there's a person here who'd like to talk to you. Be right there. Chen woke up. You need me? Nah. Stay here and keep an eye on things. I'll see what she wants. Chen walked towards the CCTV system and sat down. He reached over to pour himself a cup of coffee. On the monitor, Klaus could be seen standing just outside the tent's doors, seemingly gesticulating for a woman in the distance to come closer. As she approached and came into focus, Chen saw her skin was covered in fungal growth. She was heavily infected. Chen hit the PA button. "Klaus, get away! She's infected!" Klaus looked back up at the camera with a confused expression. "She's fine. What are you talking about?" Chen looked from Klaus to the woman. What was going on? Then it clicked. The camera. He yelled through the intercom. "Step back! I'm on my way!" He ran forward as Klaus came back into the tent. "What are you going on about?" "The cameras! The fungus is invisible except to the cameras!" Klaus's eyes widened. He turned to look back. The lady was at the tent door now.
Come on, sweetie. Open up. It's rude to leave a visitor outside.
Just behind the woman, the townsfolk started to step out of the shadows. Chen looked up at the surveillance monitor. Samples of SCP-020 are stored in a series of sealed cultivation chambers inside a sealed containment room at Biological Research Area 12, which is accessible only via airlock. Nutrients are administered via automated robotic systems, as the cultivation chamber must remain sealed at all times. Hermetically sealed video surveillance cameras are installed within the containment room and must be checked daily for integrity. Any personnel entering the containment room must wear biosafety level 5 equipment, including rebreathers, and undergo full antifungal disinfection upon exiting. SCP-020 is a fast-spreading fungal organism that is capable of affecting the senses and behavior of living creatures, including humans.
Cool.
Samples of SCP-020 exhibit an unknown effect that renders them effectively invisible to direct observation, even when under a microscope. SCP-020 is only visible to humans when viewed through photographic or video surveillance. Once SCP-020 forms a colony, usually within a human residence, it will produce spores that affect the behavior of humans around it. Affected subjects will increase the heat and humidity within their homes to create an environment more suitable to the growth of SCP-020. Affected subjects also become more sociable in many cases and often invite acquaintances to their homes to further spread the organism. As the spores and mold colonies are invisible to the affected subjects, the mold may sometimes grow directly on living subjects. As the spores and colonies within a home approach critical concentration, the health of affected human subjects will rapidly deteriorate, resulting in death. Further spread of the mold may occur as the bodies of any deceased subjects are encountered by emergency responders and healthcare agents, as well as transportation of the bodies to local morgues. SCP-020 was first encountered in where an undercover SCP agent noted dramatic personality changes in personnel working at the local hospital. Upon investigation by the containment team, it was discovered that almost civilians had been infected, as well as the majority of the town. The civilian population was terminated, and the town incinerated under cover of a local flash forest fire. Today, over 12 outbreaks of SCP-020 have been reported. Investigations are currently underway to determine the source of these outbreaks and possible preventive measures. The next time you see some black mold, or a growth in a dark, warm corner of your house, be sure to have it taken care of immediately.
You never know what the long-term effects might be.
As always, have a care, and remember to subscribe, like, and share, if you would. Until next time, farewell. Farewell.
Bond.
I'd definitely be wary in the future of anyone trying to be too friendly. Our final episode for the night, and one of my favorites, a small tribute to film noir, and one of the creepiest things I can imagine at night, the Scarecrow.
He put his hands on his weapon and took off at a run. He searched the fields, but couldn't find him. Where was he? What had happened to him? As he rounded the corner, he saw him. When did you say you saw her last? About 5 p.m. yesterday. And would you say there was anything strange about her appearance, or the way she acted? Anything out of the ordinary at all? No, not really. She was a little under the weather, but nothing that odd. A bit sick, you say? Did she show signs of a fever, coughing? Perhaps complained about strange smells? Actually, now that you mention it, she kept on smelling corn or straw. Kinda odd. Okay, thank you for your help, Michael. Boys, set up a 5-mile quarantine zone and call in MTF Beta 7, Maz Hatters. Full sweep. As the men moved to action, Kloss looked out the window across the vast cornfield. It had been some time since he'd encountered an SCP-2376 outbreak. 6 years, to be exact. The last time hadn't gone according to plan. They had reacted too slowly and had been overconfident in their own abilities. This time would be different. He was bringing in the Maz Hatters immediately. Somewhere, out there in that field was Penny. Not the Penny that young Michael knew. She was gone forever. But an infected, viral creature. There was no hope for her now. But if they could get to her in time, they could halt the spread of the contagion before the whole town would be turned.
What about you?
Sir, MTF Beta 7, en route. One other thing. We found this dead crow in the field. Didn't look right. Thought you'd want to see. Kloss looked at the crow in the man's hands and stepped back, covering his mouth.
I'm going good, okay. I'm just checking to see how you're going. Well, I'm going good. Excuse me, what's up? Is it okay if you ask a 5 counter if I can have a place in the city? Sure. I'll contact them right now. Isaac, aka the Scout King's son. SCP-001. Thanks. You're welcome. I'll be over that house over there. So that house over there is your scientist? Yeah. Okay. See ya. See ya. Cool. Huh. Gang. Yeah, buddy. I get to have my own house.
Get it into the quarantine chamber.
Hell
Did anyone
yeah.
touch it?
I don't have to fucking live in the Foundation anymore.
Okay, send her into the quarantine chamber with it. Sir? Do it. No gloves. Tell her we need it cut open. Sir, that'll mean... I know what it means. Would you rather do it in the D-class?
Foundation anymore.
No?
I don't have to
Thought
live in
so.
the Foundation
Proceed.
anymore.
The
I can
D-class
live a
hesitantly
normal
entered the
life
chamber.
here.
In front of her, on a
Hell
stainless steel
yeah.
table, was a dead crow she had found earlier. They had left a scalpel on the table, but no gloves or other tools. Pretty odd, considering they always insisted on cleanliness.
Yeah, buddy.
She walked over to the table and picked up the scalpel. She thought to herself, oh well, the sooner it's done, the sooner I can get out of here.
Gang, I can live a normal life in the
On
city
the other side of the
now.
plastic, Kloss slowly nodded his head. It wouldn't take long now to confirm his
Man,
suspicions.
I missed
In
this
fact,
normal
it had been a
life.
stroke of luck that they had found the crow.
Before,
If the infection
when I was a
inside the crow,
scientist
it would
in
quickly
my
spread
old
to the
universe.
D-class, and they could confirm beyond doubt that they
I
had
missed that
an
universe, but I have to destroy it.
on their hands. He watched as the D-class waved that she was done.
I've
and
been
agents
held
in
from the
hazmat
Scout
suits came in
King
to remove
for
the
a
bird.
while,
The D-class didn't understand why she couldn't leave him
so I'm gonna have a normal life
soon enough.
until the
Kloss
Scout
yawned as he
King
made his way back
contact
to
me.
the quarantine chamber. 2 a.m. These things always had to happen in the dead of night, didn't they? Just like a bacterium to ruin your sleep. Hit the lights. Let's see what we've got. As the bulbs flashed and came to life, Kloss took a step back. This was SCP-2376 all right, but he hadn't witnessed such a fast reaction before. It normally took days for the first symptoms to show up. To advance this far, a few weeks. It was evolving. This was a more potent strain. Inside the chamber, propped up as if a wood scaffolding was holding her, was the D-class. Her clothes, torn and tattered, straw protruding through the openings in her clothes. She stood motionless, her eyes resembling buttons, and her skin like burnt, old leather. She had turned into a scarecrow. MTF Beta 7, your orders, Dr. Kloss. Fan out. Grid pattern. Search that field. Somewhere out there is at least one more instance of SCP-2376. Possibly more. Highly contagious. This strain has evolved from the one you know. We don't know what it's capable of. SCP-2376 is a substrain of tetanus, carried by the common crow. Once transferred to a human host, it begins to turn the victim into a scarecrow. First signs are typically fever, cough, and vertigo. However, victims commonly claim to smell straw and corn. The infection will spread, slowly turning the person into a scarecrow. At this point, it appears completely immobile while observed, only seemingly able to move when not being watched. It was an oversight, but who was I to complain? They had teamed up 2 junior agents who had never experienced SCP-2376 and sent them out into a quadrant of the field without backup. Probably not the wisest choice, but all previous encounters with SCP-23761 instances hadn't shown them to be hostile, and of course, they couldn't move while observed. They just had to avoid physical and airborne exposure to the bacteria, and they'd be fine. The cornfields were tall, too tall to see over. Luckily for them, there was a full moon tonight. As they moved forward, they heard a faint cry. They stopped,
Can I
looked
play
at each
that?
other, and signaled the sound.
Sure, go on, have more
They
shot.
pushed through the thick corn, unable to see more than a few inches in front of them. They came
Thank
to
you,
a sudden
Daddy.
stop.
You
Just
open?
in front of them appeared to be something humanoid, standing in the cornfield. As they pushed the corn aside, they saw a scarecrow with its head leaning to the side. However, this one was stood up upon a wooden stake. They had been advised that there were actual non-anomalous scarecrows throughout the field. After all, this was a farm. The agents breathed a sigh of relief and turned back, moving towards the original path before they had diverted. Somewhere, behind them, they heard a rustle of corn. The agents halted, looking at each other. Nah, couldn't be. That thing was staked upright. It wasn't the little girl. They nervously smiled and continued on. They heard it again. This time the second agent turned around. Feet behind him, and the path they had created was a scarecrow. They had been wrong. It must be the little girl. Okay, let's do this. You grab the left side. I'll cover you. His partner nodded and slowly moved towards the scarecrow. As he passed below it, he swore he felt its bun eyes move. Did you see that? Its eyes. They looked at me. Relax. It's just the adrenaline getting to you. It can't move while you watch it. The agent nodded as he got around the back of the scarecrow and looked for a place to lift it. Hey man, I need a hand. There's nothing here to grip. Hey, I said give me a hand. He peered around the scarecrow, but nobody was there. Where was his partner? He'd only taken his eyes off him for a moment. Oh jeez, there must be more of them out here. He put his hands on his weapon and took off at a run. He searched the fields, but couldn't find him. Where was he? What had happened to him? As he rounded the corner, he saw him. His partner was facing away, kneeling on the ground. You alright? No response. He leveled his weapon at him. Answer me, man. As he stood over him, finger on the trigger, his partner suddenly turned around. Whoa! Put that thing away. I just went for a leak. Take it easy. You what? You just took off without a word because you had to pee? Are you kidding me? Calm down. You're fine, right? When you gotta go, you gotta go. His partner smiled and stood up. He didn't get it, but at least he was okay, and there were no other SCP-23671 instances. They carried the scarecrow back to the agents waiting at the farmhouse and laid it down on the ground. He's infected. Take him in. Wait, what? What are you talking about? I'm clean. It got you, man. I saw it. The agents closed in on him and took him away as he yelled out his innocence. Klaus approached him. Good job. I know it's not easy to turn in your partner, but you did the right thing. We couldn't risk an outbreak. Thank you, sir. All right. Take the scarecrow into containment. Administer the amnestics and let's get out of here. Good job, boys. As the agent walked away, he looked down at his hand. The tear in the glove was hard to see, but the rash was definitely there. I'm going to be fine. It's just a scratch. It wasn't the SCP. It didn't get to me. Just a rock or some dirt when I fell. I'll be fine. Behind him, in the distance, they started to come out of the field. Whether in your work or social life, always be careful where you put your trust. Even your closest ally can turn into an enemy when their own life is at risk. As always, have a care, and remember to subscribe, like, and share, if you would. Until next time, farewell.
I hope you enjoyed the compilation, and be sure to stay tuned for a fresh new episode every week. Sleep well. As always, have a care, and remember to subscribe, like, and share, if you would. Until next time.
The doorbell rang, and on time for a visitor. The doorbell rang. about time for a visitor.
Did you hear the bell? Make yourself useful for once and get it, will ya?
Who would be at the door at this time of night?
She walked to the door and hesitantly asked,
Who is it?
Girl Scouts, ma'am. We have some delicious cookies this year.
Isn't it a bit late? Shouldn't you be home?
Oh, I will be soon. You're my last stop for the night. You really need to try these, please?
It's the Girl Scouts.
Yeah? And? Buy some. Jeez, can't you think on your own for once?
She opened the door. What stood before her wasn't at all what she had expected.
Welcome back. Today I bring you SCP-2375. We're all the same down here.
Do we know anything else here?
Not much. She just turned up out of the blue to their house, selling cookies.
Clearly, we'll need to take a closer look at the necrosis on her skin. What about the parents?
They're both exhibiting signs of infection as well. The odd thing, though, is there seems to be a shift in their personalities, their attitudes.
Mr. and Mrs. Stevens, how are we today? Hey, never better.
Fantastic!
That's good to hear. We just wanted to ask you a couple questions regarding your interaction with the Girl Scout.
That lovely girl? Of course, go right ahead. Don't you want to remove that suit, though? Looks mighty hot.
I'm fine, thank you. Pardon the bluntness, but you two have a history of police visits, noise, neighbor reports, domestic disturbances. Oh, that's all in the past. We're very happy now. Okay. Since when? Well, since that little girl. She really opened our eyes. We're much better now.
Yes, much better.
Chen whispered to Klaus. Alarm bells, ding ding ding.
Hi, I'm Greg. What's your name?
Chen,
Do you have a first name, Mr. Chen?
agent.
Right. You seem like the perfect person to join our club. Just take my hand. I promise you'll feel much better soon.
The man stepped towards Chen, hand outstretched. One more step and I will take your hand. Permanently. Klaus nodded towards the door.
Let's go back and talk to the little girl. This infection clearly seems to alter personality or perceptions.
How much you want to bet we're about to talk to the happiest little Girl Scout you've ever met?
Hi there. So nice to meet new friends. Can I give you a hug?
I will give you a hug. It'll be the last.
Hi! Don't mind him. He's a little, grumpy this morning.
SCP-294, under maintenance again? Where are you supposed to get a cup of joe then?
That's okay.
So, what happened to your skin?
My skin? Oh, this? That's nothing. Small price to pay for happiness, don't you think?
Happiness?
Well, sure. Life is fantastic.
What's unlife?
Did I say unlife? Oopsie! I meant fun life. I'd be happy to show you. Just take my hand and then I can bring you there.
Hang on to that thought.
So what's the plan, dog?
You heard the little girl. She wants to show us.
Right. But she also wants to infect us.
Luckily for us, we have a whole division dedicated to just that.
The D-class sat in her cell, staring at the floor. From what they had gathered, the more depressed or antisocial the person was, the more allure SCP-2375 would have for them. Klaus and Chen walked into her cell.
Okay, so you know what you need to do.
Yeah, whatever the girl wants.
Basically, we'll be with you the whole way.
Sure you will. I've heard that before.
As they looked into the cell, the little girl spoke to the D-class. So far, it didn't seem to be having any effect. The little girl slowly reached out and put her hand forth. The D-class recoiled slightly, and then slowly extended her hand to shake it.
No bond.
The infection would now start. They just have to give it time.
It's starting to appear on her skin. It's almost time to talk to her again.
What do you expect we'll find?
I think there's others like them. Perhaps a whole colony. The unlife. Or as she said, the fun life. Right?
You think they're hazardous?
Do you know of any type of highly contagious necrosis that isn't?
Gotcha. We're going in hot.
Damn right.
As they stood outside D-2375-2's cell, she seemed different. As she looked up to see them, she smiled.
Hey, Doc. Agent. How's life?
D-Class, you see him? Chipper?
Oh, I am. That little girl really helped me out. I haven't felt this good in years.
Chen leaned towards Klaus. Fishy. Very fishy.
Don't trust her. That's great. Ready for a field trip into the fun life?
You bet.
Hold back. Maintain a 500-meter gap to them. Let's see where they're going. Up ahead, the little girl in the D-Class moved forward, now free to venture where they would. As evening came, they saw them stop in the distance. MTF Zeta 28, hold up. They seem to have stopped. As Chen watched the tracking dots, the signal seemed to flicker and disappear. What the? They've disappeared. Army of Darkness, move in. They reached the final location of the D-Class and the little girl, but they could see nothing. It was just an empty field. How'd they just disappear? Should we go back and get the parents?
Not yet. Keep searching.
In the distance, an agent called out.
Got something?
Hidden by some brush and undergrowth was a hole, covered with a piece of plywood. This must be it. Suit up. We're going in. They descended the rope. The gap was tight, no more than 1 meter wide. It was pitch black. It probably hadn't been the best idea to pursue at nightfall. As they descended, they began to see some light. Then, the sound ascended through an opening. He found himself inside a large, underground cavern. He reached the floor. In front of him were stores, buildings, a park, and even a cinema. People walked about as if this was a normal evening. All of them, their skin heavily covered in necrosis. In the distance, the D-Class came walking towards them. Slow it down. Keep your distance.
Don't be afraid, Agent. Isn't it wonderful?
Welcome to Fun Life, where everyone is the same.
Once you're here, you'll never want to leave.
SCP-2375 is a necrotic skin condition in its beginning stages, capable of spreading through physical contact. Initial symptoms of SCP-2375 include mild decay of the skin on the chest, increased senses of euphoria and pleasure, and a decreased ability to feel pain. The bodies of individuals infected with SCP-2375 displayed no permanent damage to the insides of the body, appearing to suffer only physical decay. Approximately 2 weeks after the individual is first infected with SCP-2375, the infection will spread to the individual's limbs, if available, and lower torso. Individuals who reach this point of infection are designated instances of SCP-2375-1. The subject will then attempt to convince bystanders to initiate physical contact with the subject in order to spread SCP-2375. Humans with antisocial personality disorders are particularly susceptible to SCP-2375-1's influence. Welcome, friends. Discover satisfaction. SCP-2375-1 instances have been shown to engage in standard fundraising activities, such as door-to-door recruiting, distribution of mail leaflets, social events, and group therapy programs to gain opportunities to spread SCP-2375 to humans who participate in these events. Social events and group therapy programs to gain opportunities to spread SCP-2375 to humans who participate in these events. Once an instance of SCP-2375-1 has spread SCP-2375, it will attempt to retreat to a small, readily available 5x5 hole within 100 kilometers of the area, or to create one if one is not readily available. These holes have been shown to lead to a small, subterranean caverns inhabited by mass quantities of SCP-2375-1 instances. These caverns are identified by instances of SCP-2375-1 as villages and consist of several small buildings that serve various purposes. Underground, the subject's face begins experiencing a rapid decomposition similar to the rest of the body. No instances of SCP-2375-2, after the final stage of decomposition, have been seen to willingly re-emerge from the subterranean caverns. Due to the widespread nature of SCP-2375, permanent containment is currently not feasible. Instead, Mobile Task Force Zeta 28, Army of Darkness, has been created for the sole purpose of identifying and terminating active colonies of instances of SCP-2375-1, as well as working to prevent activities that would result in the spread of SCP-2375.
Feelings of depression or being left out happen to us all. You're not alone in that. However, be wary of who comes to you in your time of depression and what they ask of you. Their intentions might not be altruistic.
As always, have a care and remember to subscribe, like, and share. If you would. Until next time, farewell.
Keep them back. Chen yelled out the order. The cordon had to be maintained. They didn't know what they were dealing with. On the floor lay the child, a semi-viscous black fluid oozing from her nose, mouth, and eyes. Outside the cordon stood another child, clutching his hand, his fingers apparently having sustained third-degree burns. Lost came up behind Chen.
The robotic arm should be here any minute.
You sure it's a chocolate egg?
That's what the boy told us. He touched it, it burned his fingers, and it spoke to him.
Yeah, but the girl didn't get burns.
True. Let's consider what we do know, though. The egg is definitely anomalous. Agreed?
Roger.
So, let's pick it up and then consider what else could be a potential hazard.
Chen nodded his head in agreement. The robotic arm rolled in off the back of the SCP armored transport. They maneuvered it into position, lifting the chocolate egg carefully. The arm brought it back to a glass containment cube.
You'll find new Nicorette Quick Mist Smart Track for a great price every day at Chemist Warehouse.
They maneuvered it into position, lifting the chocolate egg carefully. The arm brought it back to a glass containment cube and gently set it down inside before using its arm to close the lid.
And that's that. Take the body of the girl back with us. The boy appears to be fine, but we're not taking any chances. Take him back as well, isolate, and observe.
Welcome back. Today I bring you SCP-4033. The Easter Bunny is dead. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on...
Choose your champion. Choose wisely.
We've got something different for you this time. Welcome back to Raid, the epic tale of the...
Highly corrosive gel causes immediate brain death and parasitizes the body. Victim will reawaken 24 hours later under the control of an invading force of insects.
What? How did you know that?
Wait, I got it right?
Of course not. It's chocolate.
Chocolate?
A food product made from roasting cacao pods.
I know what chocolate is.
So why did you say chocolate?
I mean, is that chocolate?
Of course it is. I just told you it was. I thought you said you knew what chocolate is.
Are you serious right now? Or are you just trying to piss me off?
Bit of both. Anyway, take a look at this.
Boss passed him a scan of the little girl's head. Covering almost the entire brain mass was a blurry, liquid-type substance.
Do you see that? Chocolate. Her entire head's filled with it.
Ouch. So that's what's coming out of her nose and clearly what killed her.
Correct. The chocolate egg is clearly a trigger, but why or how, the boy might be able to assist us with.
Jump on to the Queensland Business Launchpad where you can find resources to run your small hospitality or residential construction business.
Boy might be able to assist us with.
The boy sat in the containment chamber, his hand bandaged from the burn he sustained earlier.
How are you feeling? I'm fine, sir. When can I go home? Soon, I think. Can we ask you about your hand? I guess. How did it happen? Well, Jane found this chocolate egg under the couch. As soon as she touched it, it began to speak. It told her she joined the hunt. An Easter egg hunt. Could you hear the egg too? No. Well, not yet. I picked it up after her, and that's when it burned me. It told me I wasn't a part of this hunt, and to put it down. I see. Continue. Jane helped me with my hand, and I guess it took too long. because she couldn't find all the eggs in time. Then she screamed and fell to the floor. And that's when the stuff started coming out of her nose? Yeah. Thank you. Rest up now, son. We'll send you home as soon as we can.
What's the next step, Chief?
We've examined the egg, but we can't see anything besides what we already know. Let's see if Pythia can give us anything.
Aren't you boys a little old for an Easter egg hunt?
Says the lady with Tweety Bird on her shoulder.
Pythia, this chocolate egg has killed one child and burnt another. It also has the ability to talk to them and put them on the hunt.
Very interesting. Well, bring it here and let's have a look then.
The robotic arm brought the egg towards Pythia. A shimmer appeared in the air.
What was that? Did you feel that?
Now, what do you see?
I'm not sure. Bring it forward.
She reached her hand towards the egg.
Wait, no! Something's wrong!
What is it? They were in a forest. The light streamed through the trees.
Pythia, what's going on? Where are we?
I'm not sure. This doesn't feel right.
What do you mean?
It's not a memory. This feels like... No.
But where?
Well, hello there.
They spun around. A large rabbit stood before them. What the...
Greetings and welcome to the forest. Are you here for the hunt?
The hunt? No. Who are you?
Isn't that obvious, young man? Well, I'm the Easter Bunny, of course.
No, seriously. Your real name. Like Bob or Gustav.
Easter Bunny! That is my real name.
Never mind that for now. Where are we?
I told you, in the forest.
And your forest is where?
Where is it?
That's what I just asked you.
It was you. You did this to me.
What? No, what are you talking about?
It's you. It's your fault. I know it.
Her face and features began to change and contort. It wasn't the same bunny from a moment before.
I'm the Easter.
Chen and Klaus looked at each other. What was going on? Whatever it wasn't good. I think it's time we get out of here. Pythia?
I'm working on it. Give me a minute.
I don't think we have a minute. This thing is like Vanny from Five Nights at Freddy's. We don't want to stick around for that.
You, all of you, responsible for this, for me.
It started to approach them.
Here!
Chen and Klaus looked back. Pythia had created a vortex. As they ran towards it, they could hear the rabbit calling after them.
You!
They awoke on the floor of Pythia's room. The rabbit, nowhere in sight.
Pythia, Chen, are you both okay?
Fine, dog.
Yes, I'm unhurt.
What the hell was that thing?
I'm not entirely sure, but you know how you have Santa,
Yeah,
and on the opposite side you have Krampus.
right.
Well, maybe this is whatever that was. The jackalope.
Behind Klaus, he heard someone bend down. It was a D-class. In her hand, the Easter egg. A voice drifted in.
You want to join in my Easter egg hunt? I see you found the first one already, so hurry on. Time is of the essence.
SCP-4033 is a Cadbury's cream egg that cannot be cracked, melted, eaten, or damaged in any other way. If a subject touches SCP-4033 through skin contact, the subject will hear a voice. No others have reported hearing the voice, hereby referred to as SCP-4033-1. SCP-4033-1 has been reported to have a noticeable lisp and is a Cadbury's cream egg that cannot be cracked, melted, eaten, or damaged in any other way. If a subject touches SCP-4033 through skin contact, the subject will hear a voice. No others have reported hearing the voice, hereby referred to as SCP-4033-1. SCP-4033-1 has been reported to have a noticeable lisp and resembles a child's TV show mascot. When activated, SCP-4033-1 will say, "Hooray! You want to join in my Easter egg hunt. I see you found the first one already, so hurry on. Time is of the essence." A painted egg will then appear somewhere in a 10-meter radius of the subject, often found in simple hiding places, such as on a shelf or behind another object. If a subject collects this egg, another egg, hereby referred to as instances of SCP-4033-2, will appear under the same conditions of the first. If a subject, other than the one that initiated the hunt, touches an instance of SCP-4033-2 or SCP-4033 itself, it will burn their fingers, causing them to instinctively drop it. SCP-4033-1 will then say, "No, you're not part of this hunt. Put that down." There are 12 instances of SCP-4033-2 in one hunt, and subjects are allocated 10 minutes to collect all of these instances in order to win. When the hunt is over, all collected instances of SCP-4033-2 will spontaneously disappear. If the subject wins, SCP-4033-1 will say, "Yay, yay, yay, you found them all. That means you get the grand prize." The winning subject will then fall unconscious. Medical examination of these subjects reveals that their stomachs are anomalously filled with a